Joe Rogan had Breitbart writer Milo Yiannopoulos on his podcast, and they got into a pretty heated back and forth on the issue of Christian values.
Everywhere that doesn't have a strong Christian heritage is a fucked up place with bad morals.
That's a ridiculous statement. That's a ridiculous statement. Everywhere that doesn't have Judeo-Christian values is a fucked up place.
I think that, yes, I think it should be a perfectly reasonable, respectable thing to say that our culture is better. I believe our culture is better than everywhere else in the world.
Culture of Christians.
I think
Christians that are running around doing ketamine and fucking each other.
European and American culture, which is based on Judeo-Christian values, is better than other cultures. I think it's uncontroversial to say so.
But what's based on Judeo-Christian values about being a good person?
Well, ultimately, our sense of right and wrong comes from the Bible.
What?
It does.
What comes from the Bible?
Ultimately, our sense of right and wrong comes from the Bible.
Our sense of right and wrong.
I think your sense of...
there's the only way that a person could have ethics and morals and treat each other well.
No, I didn't say the only way.
Don't you think that people understand what's good and what's bad? Listen, if we're going to have a conversation, we can't keep talking over each other like this. When someone's trying to make a point about something that's complex like this, if you think that the only way for a person to have ethics or an understanding of each other or compassion for each other is to rely on ancient myths that are easily scientifically disproven, well, that's what Christianity is.
No, I didn't say that. I said that the specific set of values that you have is influenced more than you would like to admit by your Judeo-Christian heritage.
It's influenced by
there are certain things that I think all of us have.
What you are.
I mean, I might take it to extremes.
Who you are, but who you are. Being a gay man
who I am.
that's
how
promiscuous.
I behave. It's what I do.
But that is prohibited in the Bible.
Yes, but I agree that it would be better if I didn't behave like this, and if I could
choose
to be heterosexual, I would do so.
Self-loathing homosexual.
No, and I won't have this. You need to read a wonderful essay by Bret
No, I don't need to read shit. I need to know what the fuck you're saying.
Okay, so Bret
because what you're saying is who you are. It's not prohibited in the Bible.
You are, because I don't think my sexuality is an important component of my
It's a huge part of you. You talk about it all the time. Well, it's a massive part of what we've talked about on the show.
I think
it comes up anytime you want to make a funny point. It comes up anytime you want to define your sexuality or your urges or your decadence.
I think people
jump to it because I think it's you.
Well, I think people leap to the most different thing about themselves, or the most unusual thing about themselves, anytime they want to be funny or be, black. That's why black comedians talk about being black a lot. Chris Rock always talks about, blacks and the N-word. It's why, Muslim comedians only ever talk about Islam. It's, gay comedians talk about being gay. I think that's, you go to that because it's the most different, funny thing about you. It's a sort of a form of laziness, I suppose. So I don't know that's particularly relevant, but...
no, wait, listen, it's absolutely relevant.
Well,
You're supposed to be
joke out of it, but
stoned to death in a lot of cultures.
Well, in Muslim cultures, not in ours. Not in ours. And it's only the Muslim world that does that now. It was 11 countries.
Well, they're the last ones that continue the grand old tradition of killing gay people. But that shit's been around forever. I mean, what does it say in the Bible about a man lying with another man?
I think if I could choose, I wouldn't be homosexual.
Really?
That doesn't make me self-loathing.
So if someone came out with a pill,
make me
Pfizer
came out with a pill to make me straight.
Does.
No, it doesn't.
You don't think it makes you self-loathing to hate a part of what you are?
I don't hate a part of what I am. I love all of me, but if I could choose to be even better, then I would be.
So you'd be better if you were straight?
Yes.
Wow.
Anybody would be.
If Johnson & Johnson came along and had an anti-gay pill, you would take it?
Well, it would be career suicide, but I probably would, yeah.
So you want to change the fact that you're gay because you don't think it's equal to being straight, but nobody's allowed to call you a self-hater or a self-loather. If that's not self-hatred, I don't know what is. You know how somebody who doesn't self-hate would answer that question? No, I'm perfectly fine with being gay, and I'd stay gay. But you didn't answer like that. You want to know why? Because you self-hate. Because Joe Rogan's 100% right. So to the idea that Christian culture is superior, as he said everywhere that doesn't have Judeo-Christian values is fucked up. 2 words. The space. The space isn't one of the words, by the way. Enlightenment. The Enlightenment. Christian culture was the Inquisition, the Crusades, burning witches, trying to pray away the Black Plague and other diseases. And then Christian was beaten over the head and into submission by modernity and secular liberal values and science. Have you not heard of the Enlightenment? I find it hilarious when people try to credit Judeo-Christian values or Christianity for all of the progress made by the Enlightenment. Judeo-Christian values, by the way, let's get into specifics on that. What exactly are Judeo-Christian values? Because they never go into the specifics, they just want to use that as a blanket statement and then move along. Like, oh, Judeo-Christian values, credit that for everything good ever today, and now let's move along to the next part of the conversation. No, let's stop and think about it. Judeo-Christian values, basically what that means is, if you take the Bible, the most direct literal interpretation of the Bible would be, okay, you have to be extremely, extremely nonsensically socially conservative and extremely, extremely nonsensically economically liberal. Jesus was a Marxist before Marxism was a thing. He was flat out anti-rich, just anti-rich. So are you on that page, Milo? I'm curious. And are you also on the page of the extreme social conservatism? So, for example, as we've discussed before on the show, if you really believe in biblical law, well, then you should be out there protesting the existence of fish markets. Because all shellfish, it's an abomination in the eyes of God to eat shellfish. There's your Judeo-Christian values. Or how about the fact that in the Bible, it's an abomination if women teach men anything. So you should be starting a movement to ban women from being teachers in schools. Ban women from teaching anything. Again, it's in the Bible. Judeo-Christian values. This is what we're talking about here. Or how about the fact that polygamy is the most common form of marriage in the Bible? Are you pro-polygamy? How about the fact that slavery is in the Bible? How about the fact that they have outright unscientific horse shit, like they talk about the earth having 4 corners? What kind of an earth would have 4 corners? Let's think about it. Oh, a flat earth. This is the book you want to base society on? Or how about there's a part of the Bible where daughters rape their father because they want kids, and they get them drunk and they rape them. Biblical values. # biblical values. And naturally, there's the ban on shaving. Hey, Milo, you look kind of clean-shaven there. But then again, he's also gay, so I guess he's openly sinning. And the mix of 2 different fabrics. It's an abomination to wear that. Should we put people to death because they wear a mix of 2 different fabrics? If you actually read the Bible, the values in there are fucking horrendous. So to credit the Bible with, oh, come on, this is why we've become better, it's just absurd. And in conclusion, I'll say this. When he makes the point, as he did at the beginning, that everywhere that doesn't have Christian values is a fucked up place. No, the places that exist today that are the most non-religious in the modern industrial world happen to be the places that have the highest standard of living and quality of life. People in Scandinavia, which has the highest rate of atheism and agnosticism and secularism in the modern world, they have empirically the best healthcare systems, the best social safety nets. They self-report being the happiest. We can go down a list of all these different things where they're kicking the ass of a place like the United States of America, which is an officially secular government, to be clear, but over 70% of the population describes themselves as Christian. So, bottom line is, you're just wrong, Milo. You're just wrong. And if anybody takes a look at the evidence, that's the only conclusion you can take away from this. Joe is 100% right, and you're wrong.